So, dearest listener, welcome back to the Psychology of Astrology. Today, we're going to be focusing on Cancer season. As always, it's such a joy to be here with my amazing friend Kalpna Tandon, the incredible astrologer who I continue to learn so much from. Today is a very special day, and I just want to honor that. So, listeners out there, if you're currently going through a loss yourself, this episode is for you. If you have Cancer placements, whether it's Sun, Moon, Rising, or any of the other planets or any of the other houses, this episode is for you. If you are like, I have no Cancer rising, no Cancer placements, well, we're still in Cancer season, so guess what? This episode is for you. But first and foremost, welcome to the podcast, Kalpna, and thank you so much for wanting to come, even as you're going through this, difficult period.
Thank you, Josephine. Honestly, I always feel so held by you and this space and how you create emotional safety for people. So I think, even despite having lost my aunt recently, I really want to do this and I really want to honor our the creation that we have together. And it's a real joy, actually. It's a real joy, and obviously, it's so in line with the sky and everything that's going on at the moment, and it's quite profound. It feels quite profound to even be in this space and talking about it. So yeah.
100%. And I also just want to share that before coming on today, this morning, I thought, oh, let me have a look at my own chart briefly and just go, do I have any Cancer? And I sort of in the back of my head, I was like, I think my eighth house is ruled by Cancer, but I wasn't sure. I went there
Yeah.
and checked out, yes, eighth house Cancer, right? So, for listeners out there, ruled by Pluto, right? The eighth house, we're talking about traumas, we're
Yeah.
talking about intimate relationships, sexuality.
Scorpio
You
house.
know, uh,
Yeah.
we're talking about money, finances, shared resources. There's so much here. It's so juicy. Of course, we're talking about family. Can't talk
Yeah.
about relationships without talking about family. But my love, Keltner, you know what? I kind of just want to head the mic to you,
Mm.
and maybe start out by maybe you can share sort of an overview about for you what archetype does Cancer represent?
Yes. Wow. Well, Cancer is the mother archetype. Cancer's ruled by the moon. So this is why Cancer is always such a emotional, and it's a water sign, and it's such a watery emotional sign. And it's the mother of the zodiac because it's the opposite sign of Capricorn, which is the father. So much comes up within Cancer season about the feminine. And I think, I don't know about you, but I've had so many themes around the feminine, femininity in general, sister wound, witch wound. I've had a female relative that's just passed. There's been so much, and it's on my mum's side. So it's really a kind of deeply emotional time, and I think it's designed that way because obviously we're almost being asked to be a little bit homebound before Leo season. Be homebound, like because Cancer is all about the home, and such a relational sign. It's about family, it's about friendship, it's about how you see yourself in relationship to others. In a similar way to Libra, actually. And it's not as, because Libra is more about the balance, but this is so much about your emotional relationship to other people. And it's really interesting because the Cancer new moon is on Tuesday. And so much of what that is about is what do you have to lose in order to gain? Because Jupiter's squaring Pluto at the moment, and Jupiter is the house, and Jupiter's in Leo. And it's all about, but that's as much as Jupiter's about gain, it's also about loss. And it's so much about Cancer's about what relationship wise do you maybe need to lose in order to gain, in order to step into that new version of yourself that Jupiter and Leo wants you to be. And because it's also Mercury in retrograde, it's incredibly nostalgic, and it's a karmic clearing for us all. It's a real karmic clearing. So it's pretty deep this Cancer season, more so than usual. And I think a lot of people are we're all collectively feeling how emotional it feels this time round.
100%. And I just want to add to this, because also I know a lot of people that are going to be listening to this and watching this on YouTube. It's women, right? And I just today alone, I've had several women reach out to me or be with me, with tears. And not just a little discreet, oh, this looks cute on TV kind of tear, like full on,
Wow.
like calling me up going, Josie, I can't stop crying, right? And
Wow.
so I just want to share that, because listeners out there, if you're here and you're going through Cancer season, you're like, where are these tears coming from? And if you're sitting there and rationally you're trying, because the ego always wants evidence. The ego wants to
Yeah,
know where stuff is coming from, so then it has a right to be expressed and to be experienced, right? I
definitely.
would like to just open up the floor as it be today by saying, I think especially as women, because we experience life through the body, when the
Mm.
tears come, let them come. It's kind of similar to laughter, right? When the laughter come, and as you know, Kalpna, you know me, like I love a good laugh. There's nothing like a tragic comic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but agree, agree. Me and you
Right?
both, sister. Me and you both.
But at the same time, right? It's that thing of like, as women, you are processing not just your own story, not just what took place this month, this year, since the beginning of your life. You're processing, you know, trauma for generations before you came. You're even processing trauma that wasn't even yours, from your family line, from a different family line, a sister from another mister, right?
Wow,
We as
wow.
women, we carry this. And honestly, like just hearing, of course, hearing one of my best friends literally crying her heart out and saying, I'm crying and I'm crying. I've cried since last night. I cannot stop. On one hand, of course, all I want to do is like, fly over to Denmark, hold my arms around her and go, like, I'm here with you. And hopefully I can do
Yeah.
that soon. But another part of me felt so seen. Another part of me felt like, oh my God, I can collapse into this space because I know I'm not alone in it. And I know that I'm not the only one who has experienced that thing where you're like, I don't even know where these tears are coming from, but I know that if I enter that space, I can't actually stop.
Ooh, that is powerful. And it's so, so Cancer. It's all about, like Cancer's so much about our deepest ancestral wounds, our deepest emotional longings. And it's like how we want to live, who we want to come home to. Like that's what it's all about. It's like, and are we happy with, the person that we come home to when we take the mask off? Do we feel like a lot of the time, I think Cancer reveals something about ourself. And if we're coming home drained every day, is that because we're not being our truest self in the world? So what is it like when you come home? Is coming home like a sanctuary to you, or is it, you're so depleted by the time you get home? And I think that's a really important thing to ask yourself during Cancer season, because it's a time to really assess how you feel about yourself. How
Oh,
you feel. Yeah.
and and also, like you said, who are you coming home to? What are you coming home to? What kind of environment are you coming home
Yes.
to? But then there's also the even deeper level, right? So there's first the people in your home, are you in a flat share? Are you living with a partner? Are you by yourself, but actually craving to be with someone else, right? Like there's all the physicalities, the sort of on the physical surface, we can look at those things, like you said, also that thing of, am I coming home drained because actually I'm wearing a mask all day and I haven't fully
Yeah.
figured out how to
Yeah.
make a living while still, make a living, but also living authentically, haha. But then there's that even, not that it's better, but there's another layer to this, right? Which is, who am I coming home to when my eyes are closed and no one else is watching? Like the inner home, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so because I just want to share, and this is another personal share.
Yeah.
I used to be, oh God, I'm going to be emotional. I used to be so scared of my own emotions. I used to be so scared because I was like, I realized, I mean, this many years ago, I realized, I was like, fuck. When I felt that I had done a good thing for the world, a good thing for other people. When I felt like I was living my full potential, I loved coming home to myself. I was like, I'll close my eyes any day, all days, and here I am, right? But then if I felt like I had done something in inverted commas wrong, I wasn't living fully in alignment, or whatever it was, someone was angry with me. Oh, someone was angry with me, a dangerous place to be. I would be so hard on myself. And because I would be so hard on myself, i.e. me to me, and you can't run away from yourself, coming home to my physical home would be the last thing I would want to do. And I would really try and just spend more time with friends outside, have another
Yeah.
job. Like, I don't need to spend any time in my home, because the home represented, fuck, I'm there alone and there's just me. That also means, who am I coming home to on the inside? And I have to face her. Not only do I have to face her, I have to feel her.
It's so true. I mean, that is so bang on in terms of what this season really does bring up. And I
Mm.
feel because it's so much about the moon. It's the emotional world.
Yeah.
It's our emotional world. And obviously the moon is in astrology, it's also our family wounds, it's our ancestral patterns. It's so much about the things that are subconscious. It's very much about the subconscious, and obviously Mercury's in retrograde, so it's bringing it, and that's a huge time for inner reflection.
Right. And then at the same time, how can we sort of as a helpful tool, and this has also has been my own journey, ever since I was a kid, right? Like, how can I find practical, physical ways to help process,
Yeah,
digest, reflect, move through, and move with these emotions, because they have to be felt. But being felt doesn't necessarily mean, oh, now I go home and sit on a cushion and I'm just there all by myself and this feels a lot, right? It might be you write. It might be that you go to a dance class. Maybe you go for a walk. There's so many different ways to express emotions, right?
I totally, and I think it so comes back to, because if we think about the moon, and the moon is feminine, and it's so much about our feminine energy this period of time, and a lot of what we're not doing in our feminine energy is knowing how to receive. And that's, for me, that's the essence of Cancer season is, are you able, do you actually feel you're fully able to receive? And and that means, sometimes receiving is the art of doing nothing. It's like the art of knowing that you don't need to do, you need to, you come home and you do nothing, or you sit with yourself and you be. It's the art of being. That really is, because the moon just is, right? The moon just is. The water just is. Water just flows. How can we just flow like water? And that is truly what it is. To be in your feminine energy is just to receive, and actually knowing that doing this, doing meditation, doing yoga, sometimes it's actually being it, just being it. And yeah,
Absolutely. And I love that. And again, I just want to, support that by saying, but again, as a listener out there, if like me, you're finding yourself, because you're younger in life, or, you're still very young, or whether, what you're going through right here, right now just feels too intense, and you feel like you're going to break if you sit down, because that's how I used to feel. Just super, super honest. My emotions are so incredibly intense. Not saying that they're not intense for others. I'm sure they are, but I've never been another, right? So I can only talk from my own experience.
yeah,
And so I just want to share that if you're like, because I can now, but I'm 40 years old, Kalpna. I've
yeah,
spent my entire life studying this, living this, like
yeah,
working with my body. And even though I was working with my body, my inner emotions were still so intense and amazing when I felt great, right? I'm like
yeah.
literally like bigger than the moon. But then the flip side, right? When I felt sad or when I felt angry, it was this thing where I was like,
Where does it go?
this current is so intense. What do I do with it, right? And again,
Yeah,
then you add, like, thankfully I had supportive environments and I found them, and I moved towards them. But a lot of listeners out there, I know you guys don't have that. So then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, so I'm told it's Cancer season. Best thing I can do is be. be like the moon, which I love. And I'm sitting here going like, oh my God, so delicious. I too want to be a moon.
Yeah.
Moon me.
Yeah.
But it's just still that thing of like, yes, but if you're still transitioning, or if you're currently finding yourself at a moment in your life where this idea of going home to your house and sitting with yourself, right? If that feels really fearful, maybe sitting with yourself is just get a pen and a paper, journal. That's sitting
Yeah.
with yourself. If sitting with yourself is hand onto heart and just listen to your heartbeat and breathe and maybe sing a song, right? There's many
Yeah.
ways to be with ourselves. I just want to sort of like add on to what you were saying, Kalpna, that just because you're with yourself doesn't mean you have to sit there in Buddha pose, right? And be like, okay, now just be okay.
Yeah, and no, it's very true. And I think, a lot of like the feminine is kind of around creative energy. Because I think a lot of the time we all want outlets. We all want like a creative outlet in some
Mm.
way, whether that is writing or whether that is, like you even said, like whether it's singing or, I was speaking to a business owner today who has done really well, but she was like, but actually, I want to sing. And she's kind of reached the pinnacle of her career. And I think it's funny, isn't it? I think we're all, maybe this time is about all of us coming into our feminine energy power, our creative power, creating from within.
Mm.
And that could be a really beautiful way, is to how to be on your own, is to, spend some time journaling or drawing, or just letting yourself express in a way, and creative flow. That's what it's about, isn't it? Because
I
it is a creative flow in a way.
100%. And I think also just to tie in, just to go back in time as we always do, so we had Aries season, right? We
Yeah.
gold, boom, the fire. We have arrived.
Initiation. Yeah.
Initiation, right? Into Taurus. Oh my God, I have a body. Let's ground into this, right?
Yeah.
Let's start to build something that can grow, right? Then into Gemini, right? Oh my God, I have a mind. Woo! And what can this mind create, right? And where can I travel my body
Yeah.
to? Movement, right? Movement of
Yeah.
mind, movement of body. And then first time we meet the element of water in Cancer season. Oh my God, I have an inner world.
Yes.
Whoa.
Pisces too, though.
Oh yeah, but
Pisces 12th. 12th.
12, right? So it's the
Go backwards.
first,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
In
so
the wheel. In the wheel. Yeah. In the wheel. Yeah.
right. So again, this thing of like, oh, actually, I am curious because I always thought of Cancer as the first water element. Would you say Pisces is? Because Pisces is because you said
No,
it's
it's
number.
not. It's not
Okay,
really.
cool.
It's
I just
not.
wanted to
Yeah.
because always correct me if I'm incorrect.
No, no, you're bang on. You're
Okay,
bang
so
on.
it's just this
Yeah.
thing where we go like, oh, I have an inner world, right? Emotions, energy in motion. Okay, so like you were saying, Kalpna, so who am I if I let my body be still? Even if I, for a minute, try and just place my mind to my inner world, then who am I, right?
Yeah.
The inner home, the inner sanctuary. Yeah, like
And
super
the
powerful.
soul. The soul.
Yes,
It's the soul, isn't it? It's
that's
like a
it.
huge reminder of the soul, where we've been before. It's like past lives vibes, I think. It's quite Cancer and Scorpio are very
Yes.
similar. There's a very similar quality.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, sorry, I was like, I'll hand the mic to you, and then like Josie keeps talking.
No, I love it.
I just,
I'm so here for it. I'm loving it.
I just have to
Yeah.
like share this. So there I am with my 8th house placement in Cancer, and I called up my mom, who by the way is Scorpio and everything almost, right?
Yes,
And I'm like,
yes.
oh my God. It turns out Cancer is my 8th house, right? I can
Yeah,
relate to you water folks, right? And
totally.
anyway, and then I'm like, oh, but Cancer, first time we meet the water, right? First time we meet sensitivity, right? And then
Mm,
because like Cancer for me is like sensitivity without the spice. Because what Scorpio, right? In Scorpio, we're like, okay, I'm sensitive, but whoa, don't mess with me, right? So there's this element of fire in there, like,
yeah,
and with Cancer, it's like there's this kind of purity and naivety and like almost childlikeness desire to deeply connect and belong. Like the Cancer just so deeply want to belong.
Wow, that's such a good point. I'm just thinking about some of the cancers I know in my life who that wound really shows up.
Right.
And the kind of low vibration, there's a low vibrational energy to that,
That's
which is
it.
it can be quite a like it can be yeah, it's ostracized in some way. It's very there's so much like mother wounding, I think, that comes with low vibrational cancer energy. And that can feel, yeah, it's almost like being cuckolded in a way. Actually, yeah, because I saw Lily Allen in concert this week, and that word came up. And there's so much, yeah, it just there's so many themes right now about femininity and the relationship to the relational aspects of being feminine and what that looks like, and being manipulated by another feminine or being betrayed by another one, and jealousy between feminine as well. I think that's coming up a lot in the collective. It's very, very interesting actually. And that's kind of that's low vibrational cancer. That's what it is, because there's such a deep ancestral wound that's being brought up right now for us all to heal, to know that actually we're better together, you know. We're so lucky in our sisterhood and all the like multitudes and how multifaceted the moon is, like us, like women. We're so multifaceted. And I think that's what Cancer season really wants to remind us of, is that we can be in celebration of each other as well. Like that's how we will win.
100% in the same
Mm.
way, because how we respond, again, we're always in relationship within ourselves, right? How
Yes.
I choose to respond to whatever I am meeting within myself, however
Yeah.
I choose to respond to whatever I'm meeting within myself, that will be how I will respond to the outer world as well. It's what I will see in the outer world. I see what I feel. How I feel
Yeah.
is what I see in the outer world. It's always through the lens of what I'm feeling about me,
Oh, yes.
right? And
Yeah.
so exactly like you said, so can we have this, can we choose to use this this nurturing quality first and foremost of ourselves and our experience? Doesn't mean we don't it doesn't mean we don't, have drive and ambition and movement and all the sort of like external dreams or external
Yeah.
goals, but it's coming from a much more loving and less judging place within, right? Because
Yes.
it's that thing of like, I had this little thing in my head this morning, which was like, the problem is not the problem. The story you attach about yourself, that's what's blocking your freedom. The problem itself is not the problem, right? It's the story I attach, i.e., the judgment of myself. That's what's stopping me from being in freedom, living in wholeness. Wholeness is not outside of me, it's within me.
That's so, so true. And yeah, there's a real like kindness and self-love practice that comes with that, and I think that's the greatest lesson of Cancer, isn't it? Is by the time we get to Leo season really asks you is, how full of yourself are you? Because, and that's not arrogant, that's like everyone says Leo it can be an arrogant sign, but actually being full of yourself just means being full of love. So Cancer season just wants you to fill your cup with so much self-love that it outpours by the time we get to Leo season.
And 100%, and also so that you are sustainable within yourself. And that doesn't mean becoming an island. It doesn't mean not needing other
Yeah.
people or not wanting other people. But it's that thing of, you're filling up for an inner well, from an inner well that is forever flowing and glowing through you, right? Nurturing you from the
Yes.
inside out. But also, if we look at Cancer, as the shellfish, I guess, it's got that shell, right?
The crab,
The
yeah.
crab, right? And so it can be really hard. It's, you might, again, sitting out there, listeners. Oh, yeah, I know, Kalma, you're like, oh my God, yes, we need to talk about this. But again, wherever you personally have Cancer placements, right? It's really important maybe go ahead and look at going, okay, so if it's in your moon, is it in your sun, is it in your rising, whatever it is, like where in my life do I find it easy to share my vulnerability? Where in my life
Mm.
have I allowed, or do I allow myself to use my sensitivity is my superpower, right? Because you can only be as sensitive as you're willing to reveal yourself, right? Because
Very true.
otherwise, when we put on that armor, and I've definitely done that, and this is an ongoing theme for my own life, right? Because there can even be an armor that you don't show others, but give a quite an intense example here. I once had and again we do it for self-protection, right? I had a extremely traumatic experience, and
Mm.
during the time of which it was happening, the only way I could emotionally, mentally, even on a soul level, stay there in that situation was I remember looking at what was going on, and I told myself, I mean, this is quite an intense share, but I was like, wow. I was like,
Mm.
even though physically I was there and physically this was abusive,
Yeah.
and I remember telling myself, I was like, you will never be able to have my heart, my soul. You can take everything else, but you will never be able to access this part of me.
Yeah.
So I know, sorry, I didn't realize this was such an intense share, but like,
Just let it, yeah, let
I
it go.
just, I just wonder, I feel like it's really important, whatever it is, listeners out there, whatever it is you're going through, there can be we can have situations in life happening, but we have to self-protect, right? And of course, there are times in life where you can't physically just move yourself away from the situation, whatever it is. Maybe you're at a dinner table, right? You're at a dinner table
Yeah.
with your family. Maybe you're only 16 years old. Something is taking place. There's an argument or someone is being mean to you. All you want to do is get up and move away or say something back, but you freeze, right? This is a trauma response. It's the
Yes.
same way that this is also what cancer can cover, right? We create this shield around ourselves.
It's that, I mean, that's honestly, Josephine, that's amazing because I have felt so similar in circumstances in my life too that are probably not dissimilar to what you're talking about. And I remember having the exact same feeling of, and this is why it's so important, given everything that we've spoken about the feminine, is like our shared experiences, is I remember feeling the exact same of this is happening and this is and I'm hurting, but I have my soul, or
Yeah.
like my soul is older than this experience, or like I feel like I have this like huge sense of myself within this moment.
Yes.
And it's like the weirdest, profound thing that you can go through when something like that happens, because that's something they'll never be able to take away our spirit. Like your spirit is just it's what is you in truth. It's the truest form of you.
100%.
Yeah, it's
And
chill.
thank you so much for sharing that as well. And I'm so sorry you had, like
I'm
I'm sure
saying,
many other people out there. But I want to broaden it out again. So if a listener you're like, can't really relate to that, then first of all, very happy for you, you can't. But also, I think you can if we change the narrative. So
yeah,
imagine that you are in a job and you're in a career where on paper everything looks amazing, right? Like you were mentioning there, your friend and right. So
yeah,
paper everything can look amazing.
yeah.
And then but inside you are quietly dying and no one is realizing,
Mm,
right? Inside you're quietly dying and no one is realizing. That can also be a cancer theme, right? So it's this thing of like, because cancer as well, I had this another little realization today as I was walking down the street. I was like, cancer in terms of the dis-ease we talk about, right? That's a cell that for so long has felt it didn't belong, that it decided to create its own community, right? So imagine that in terms of, the crab. It's like the crab going, okay, like the only way I can stop trying to, get eaten is I need to I need to become a different entity. I cannot be part of the whole. I have to create this really thick shell, right? I'm going to create my own little protective bubble, right? So
Hmm.
again, for Cancer placements, I know we're going deep today. Stick with us, please, listeners. This is going to benefit you. Maybe you are in that career right now where, again, on paper, it looks great. You're quietly dying inside. That could be, if you have Cancer in one of those houses that governs career, notice if this is a theme that's coming up for you. You're actually a deeply sensitive person, and your sensitivity is what can really take your career and your life purpose in a most beautiful direction. But you have to become vulnerable enough to go, okay, whatever I'm doing in here, I can't just continue to create a thicker shell and a thicker shell, and all of a sudden the shell is so deep, that so thick that you might be able to cope going to work, but again, inside there's literally no more space. That's just shell.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so true. And it's such and that's like the masculine approach, isn't it? To keep creating the shell or to suppress,
Defense. Yeah.
yeah, to
We're
defense.
building the defense.
Yes, suppress the emotions, like
Yeah.
keep calm and carry on. But,
That's it.
you know, Cancer's the mother, it's the nurturer. It's asking of you to nurture, to really like look after this thing, whether it's your career, whatever it is, as a baby.
Mm.
How would you look after a baby? How would, treat yourself with that extension of like the capacity of love and kindness, and see what comes up when you do that. And that's like daily work too. Motherhood. Motherhood is laborious, it's long, it's doing the same thing over and over again. So Cancer's so much about consistency and like turning like things into labors of love as well, I think.
Oh my
You
God.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
And I think cancers really make the best business people too. The best. Because they're so nurturing. What they can what they can manifest when they're truly in their power, because they can do it through feminine energy, is really quite amazing. And it's
yeah.
hard to master. Yeah.
I really love that. I'm going to share two little things that personally I do myself that has really deeply helped me. Number one, if there's a new endeavor, and especially for me, it's always about money. It's like, oh, this is a lot of money. It is a
Yeah.
big investment. And even though, yes, I've worked for a million years, I have savings, blah, blah, blah. Good to turn one's penny around a few times and
Yeah.
make sure it's really what you want. But
Yeah.
anyway, what I've done sometimes, and it's hilarious because I even did it with this podcast. I remember my partner was like, "Oh, here you can get the best mic for your podcast," and I so about the voice, Carl. He
I
doesn't
love
talk
the
like that.
Carl impression. It's amazing.
Anyway, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get the most expensive one. This is going back like a year and a half when we just started the podcast, and I was like, but I'll buy one, right? And then I was really like having a bit of a drama within my own brain because I was like, oh, but like maybe I just do it once and that's it. Anyway, long story short, what I always do when there's something I want to do, but I have a blockage, I have a limiting beliefs about, whether or not it's worth it or whatever. I ask myself, if I had a 5-year-old little daughter and she came running to me and she was like,
Oh,
Mom, I have this incredible desire. I saw people dancing on TV. Can you take me to dance lessons? Would I stand there and go, well, little Marie, right? Little Marie, are you sure that you're going to become a professional ballerina? Because if I'm going to be investing this amount of money for you to do a one-off dance class, no, I wouldn't, right? I would never put so
yes.
much pressure on my gorgeous little girl, right? Who ran and was super excited about trying something out just from the pure joy of it. Would I put pressure on her to perform, to give me back my ROI, right? Of course I
Yes.
wouldn't. So when
Love
I had
that.
that, when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, buy that mic. And yeah, I didn't buy the most expensive one, but I bought one that sat within a price that I was happy with, right? And so that's a really nice thing. Talk to your inner child. Like you can imagine yourself as that little girl, or even as if you had a little girl or a little boy, right? And ask yourself, if this little child came running to me right now and they were really excited just for the fun of it, this will be so much fun. Would you deny them that chance if you had the money? if you would you deny them that chance if it wasn't about money, but it was about time? Would you deny them that experience of going down to the beach if you actually have got the whole day off? No, you wouldn't. You would go, yeah, let's go to the beach. Let's try it out. If we don't like it, we leave, right? Like,
That's so
so
true. Yeah.
honestly, that number one, that's just changed everything for me. And I mean, as you know, Keltner, like I now love the podcast, the rest is history, right?
Yeah.
But if I hadn't had that little conversation within myself of that like little child, right? So that was great. And then the second tool that I use is the receiving part. I use it through the breath. So
Mm.
often, like we talk a lot about, nervous system regulation, healing the nervous system. Very often, the practice we get given is make sure your exhalation are longer than your inhalations throughout your day. Just, every now and then take a nice big breath out, right? That's all very good. Yes, it soothes the parasympathetic part of our autonomic nervous system. Essentially, it just reminds the body what relaxation feels like. However, very often we forget about really noticing the inhalation because the inhalation is given to us. Right? Yeah, let's do it twice more. Why not? Hand on heart. Come on, listeners out there, hand on heart. Let's breathe together. So as you inhale, really receive the breath. And if you can, and you're not driving, close your eyes, relax your stomach, relax the belly, relax the shoulders. And then just notice what parts of you are willing and ready to receive life. What aspects of your mind, body, heart, and soul are ready and willing to really receive incredible life, support, love, positivity, encouragement. What part of your lives are ready and willing to receive some flow? And breathe that in. One more deep breath in. And release. And then one more. And then this time when we exhale, don't think of it as a letting go. Think of the exhalation as a bringing home. Deep breath in. Breathe into you. Receive, receive, receive. And then as you exhale, let it land. Bringing home. Okay, we can blink the eyes open. We are back in the body.
I love that. The bringing home. That's amazing. Because that's what Cancer season's the homecoming, isn't it, really? It's our homecoming. And it's like it's post the summer solstice. It's like that midway check-in point of are you home?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Are you home? Yeah, just that. Are you home? Are you where you want
Are
to
you in the
belong?
right home? Yeah. Wow. That's really powerful. And I love your first point about, talking to your inner child, because that's so resonant with Cancer New Moon, and how it's so much about knowing that it's what we were saying about being. You would never, ever, ever tell a 5 or 6 year old that they need to earn our trust, earn our love, earn their presence. Yeah, you need to tell me what your title is, nephew. It's like they just all we need them to be is them. And they receive our love, vice versa, because it's easy. With children, they're so easy to love, aren't they? And that's how we need to treat ourselves.
100%. And actually, with that, when a baby is first brought to this planet, it soaks up the love. Have you ever been on the
Yeah.
tube or public transport? It's not even someone you know, it's someone else's baby, right? That baby, it's not only looking at you to give you love, it's looking at you because it's like, I'm here to receive. Now give to me.
So
And
true.
I love it. And we all do. Be like, oh, there you are from the start, right?
Yes.
So beautiful. And it's not, no one will ever call a baby arrogant, right? Like
It's
imagine.
actually so true. And I was just thinking that. Like it's not an ego thing. I know it's that baby is so arrogant. That baby is so full of
I was
itself.
like, can you teach your baby?
Yeah, could your baby just calm down? Seriously.
That smile, that joy, that's a little loud.
That baby is taking up way too much space.
Right. But so it is so interesting. It's that thing of like, how quickly do we stop ourselves receiving? You know, for some
Yes,
of us, it stops around the age of 1, 2 years old, 3 years old. Of course, it's a gradual process. There might be areas in life where we allow ourselves, or certain people where we're like, oh, I can receive from this person. But then there are other people where so quickly, intuitively, instinctively, it's through the body. We learn so quickly, this is not a safe person. I have to self-protect, right?
the crab. That's where
Right?
the
The
crab.
crab, yeah,
Yeah, the
crab
crab.
mode. Do, 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 do,
Yes, yes,
do,
do, do,
do.
do. Scuttle, scuttle. You
Exactly.
know.
Right. Yeah, but so that's the thing of like, and maybe that could even be a nice practice as well, right? So listeners out there, wherever you are in the world right now, look around. Do you see a baby? And if you do, learn from that baby.
Yes.
Receive. Oh my God, I love this. Receive like a baby.
Receive, like, I'm really gonna be taking this
Oh
on,
my
by the
God.
way. I know that that's a lot of my work is about so much about me being able to receive. And I'm gonna totally take that approach, you
We're
know?
just here, ready and willing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's magic, really, I think. The art of being receiving, like someone giving you a compliment and you just
Mm.
saying thank you, or someone offering help and you saying that would be amazing, you know?
100%. These are super powerful practices. And also, like you said, when someone gives you a compliment, do you deflect it? That's quite a, without talking about cultures, but I find a lot in England, people will deflect it
Yes,
straight
they
away.
do. They do.
One must not take a compliment. So we push it away. We're like, no, no, no.
It's a
This old
huge
thing.
thing here. It's a huge thing here to be self-deprecating. That's our humor. Our humor is to be like, no one wants to congratulate anyone here, you know? Like that's a
100%.
really, or like, oh, that's a really nice, as women, that's a really nice top. Oh yeah, it was only £10. Like, why do we do that?
Uh, right.
Why do we do
No,
that?
but it's so interesting because quite often we do it because, we don't want someone else to perhaps feel bad about themselves or somehow not enough or inadequate or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then in doing so we're trying, I mean, that's a nice thing in inverted commas, but in doing so, we're actually separating ourselves from them, right? We're creating a
Yes.
distance. Every time someone tries to give you a compliment and you decide to not take it in, you're creating distance. You're like, hey, you know what? You can stay. You look quite good outside in my garden, but do not come inside my home.
Wow. Wow. And that's the vulnerability piece.
That's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
And then imagine, and I'm sure we've also experienced it the other way around because not only is that uncomfortable for the receiver, not being able to receive, but imagine for the giver, I'm trying to give you these beautiful flowers, and you're there going, I don't want them. Right now, of course, I'm not talking about relationships where you've had a weird thing and you really don't want those flowers. That's fine. But like otherwise, imagine you're there, it's your best friend and you just want to really show them how proud of them you are, right? They've done this, maybe it's just for being your friend. You just want to give them the biggest hug or like the most beautiful gift and they refuse to take it in. I'm sure we've all been there, right? So on both ends of that thread, the giver and the receiving are having a kind of shitty life, right? That no
Yeah.
one is connecting here.
Yeah.
So when we allow ourselves to receive, it also means it opens up the space for someone to come and give. And both are needed. You see?
Both are incredibly, incredibly needed. And, when you feel that defense from someone, eventually they will, the giver will stop giving, or the giver won't feel like they're able to give, and when someone isn't able to receive, it's a very it's so rooted in fear a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of avoidant energy, isn't it? It's like, and that can be, that's not just romantic, it can be anything like that, having that avoidance towards life. It's like such a form of escapism, isn't it? To avoid receiving or to not allow emotional intimacy to happen.
Yeah.
And it's self-protection. And a lot of women, as women, we do that a lot. Because we've had to protect ourselves.
Yeah. And we're going to have to just have a few moments about it. We really have had to. And
Really,
men
and
too.
that's
Yeah.
ancestral.
100%.
Yeah, that goes further back than our, immediate lineage. It goes back like centuries. So it's really in our deep, deep roots. So we have to give ourselves grace in that respect too. That,
100%. And that
yeah.
comes full circle with the, as a listener out there, not to make this funny, but we come full circle with the, if you're finding yourself, especially during Cancer season, feeling even more emotional, even more sensitive. And
Yeah.
these are words that, by the way, should be fucking magic words, empowering words, not like, there's always this slightly, I hate that these two words have like a slightly disempowering connotation to them, right? Because being sensitive means that
Yeah.
you are able to feel everything. Aren't we here to feel life, to feel alive?
Yeah.
And by the way, isn't that what we want? That's why we fall in love. We don't think love, we feel the love, right? That's why we go to
Yes.
movies. We want to have a feeling, we want to be moved. So if you are sensitive, that should be celebrated, you know? If you are emotional, right? That means again, you have the ability to
To feel,
to
to
feel, right?
feel.
To be in motion, to be in movement with the currents of life, right? So anyway, if that is you during Cancer season specifically, you're noticing the highs are high and the lows are lows, right? And again, if you have those days, just like my friend, or you just noticed me a moment ago, where you feel like you've opened up this well. And once you notice you're in there and you're like, I cannot stop crying, like Kalpna encouraged me to do. I know obviously we're on screen, but anyway, even if you're at work right now and you're like, oh my God, I need to have this release. I just want to cry. And our society does not really,
Support that.
support that, right? What I tend to do is I either put a mental note or I put it in my calendar, like I try and carve out a space. And even I know you might not be able to cry like by clicking your fingers, but at least make a mental note that you are trying to create a space at a point in future where you will actually allow yourself to just breathe into the
Yeah.
body and land into the body. And if the tears come, let them come. And if they don't come, that's fine too. But instead of just going, you're at work and you're like, oh no, stop, 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 stop. At least if you can do that mental note of going, okay, I can't express it right here, right now, but I see you, I love you. And I'm sorry I can't do it right now, but I will try. I'm making space for this experience, whether it's tears or no tears. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
guided journaling, maybe it's calling a friend, whatever it is, right? So we
Yeah.
are acknowledging that you matter, how you feel matters. Your feelings are 100% real and very, very potent. It is not something to be pushed away.
No, and I think, it is really, this season is all about how you honor your emotional world.
Hmm.
How am I honoring my emotional world above any other external world, physical world? This is really about your emotional world this time. So if there was ever a time to honor it, give it ceremony in some way by writing about it or having an honest conversation with someone that you have really always wanted to, or, doing it in a very micro way at work or something, however whatever that looks like, it can be a really powerful time to do it. And then also, just another point, on the practical steps, I think because it's got such a scorpionic quality as well, Cancer season, it's so much about expulsion. And we're in that mid-year point and I had such a strong desire yesterday to get rid of lots of stuff, which I did. I cleared out so much from my home because I needed to do that. I needed to get rid of things in order to let new things in the second
Hmm.
half of the year. So I
Hmm.
tangibly like cleared so many things from like the last, honestly, I've lived here for 2 years, but from the last 4 years when I've had this big transition in my life, I I've just cleared stuff away or thrown them away, given them away. It felt so amazing. And I really encourage people to do that too. Like always regenerate your home. It's a time of regeneration, you know?
Oh, couldn't be more true. Everything in
Yeah.
life is a cycle. We are cyclical beings, right? Just like the moon. And we are
Yes.
not meant to bloom and sprout forever. We are supposed to dissolve, release, let go, free up space.
Yeah.
And it's funny enough, my mom also just did a full-on massive clear out. I have
Of
photos
course she
sent over.
did.
Oh, of course she did. And right. And it's, and the same thing. She was like, I feel so energized. I'm like, of course you do, because we do not realize how much, again, our surroundings, right? Our home.
Yeah.
When you look around, does
Yeah.
it uplift you? Does it drain you? Do you have, I had this client, I do a lot of energy, not loads, but I do some house energy clearings, Kalpna. And I remember once I went to a client's home and she was going through a divorce and she was sleeping on, she said she slept really bad. And I looked in her bedroom and she was sleeping underneath her bed was a whole suitcase of old photos of her and her ex-husband. Right. So it
Wow.
might be, again, gorgeous listeners out there, you might be like, oh, but I can look at the photos, I'm not attached. I'm not saying you have to get rid of them, but find a place that feels really appropriate and appropriate for you energetically. What feels like this is the right place? And
Yeah.
again, it might even be, this is what I also do sometimes with clients when we're doing house clearings. Sometimes you're not ready to let go of something, and that's also completely okay. But what we can do sometimes is whether, whatever it is you're letting go of, maybe someone's passed, right? Passed over. Maybe it's the death of a relationship. Maybe it's the death of an old
Yeah.
identity. Your kids have moved home, right? You're no longer at home. Maybe you're transitioning through, through career change. Maybe your best friend is no longer around, or maybe your best friend got pregnant. There's a death. You will never just be you and her, right? Now it'll be you and her
Yes.
and their kids, right?
Wow.
There's so many deaths that we go through. So my tip is always, if you are not ready to completely let it go, maybe you never will be, and that's okay too. But if you have that feeling where, okay, just needs another place in the home, great, do that. But
Mm.
if you actually have a feeling that, oh my God, I think at some point I need to completely let it go. If that is you, if that's the latter, the best next step you could do is, if you've got, a friend, a family member who would be willing to look after that one suitcase with photos, maybe just for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Give it a timeline so they know it's not there forever at home. But that could be a place, right? I actually had a client who once had, bless her, she had a very abusive ex-partner, and I found out because I kept coming to her home for the sessions, and I was like, there's a weird energy in here, and she was like, oh, all of my ex-partner's belongings are still here in suitcases. And I was like, okay, we gotta let those go. And this wasn't even for house clearing, right? This was for energy
Wow.
healing, for coaching, right? And so
Wow.
anyway, and then
Wow.
what I did, I was like, because again, people have their own path. Like, who am I to tell you how to meet God or universe, right? Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have your path.
Yeah.
But what I suggested was, okay, listen, you have an office just around the corner. It's not brilliant, but you know what? There's an extra big room in that office. Maybe just, if how would it feel to get help and move those suitcases just to the office clearing space? Have them there for a few weeks, see how you feel at home, and that might just be the springboard that you need. And indeed it was. And after a few weeks, once she had repossessed her own space with her energy, not someone else's, once she was fully in her home, in her bubble, once her home had fully been reclaimed by her energy and her energy only, guess what happened naturally? She let go of those suitcases, right? So
Very
sometimes it's just
powerful.
right, and
Very
it's
powerful.
just a nice reminder that, again, because I'm such a perfectionist at times, so I can be very much like, I'm either all in or all out. But we have to remember that sometimes we all need a helping hand, and sometimes you just need a third
Very
wheel, and you need someone to
true.
hold you while you're trying to cycle. Has anyone ever tried to cycle when you were a kid? It's difficult, right? Like, you need, I
Yes.
remember my Danish dad. He had this like top part of a what is it called? A sweeper. You know when you sweep. He had like the top part of that inserted into the bike so he could kind of like hold my bike steady.
That is so cute.
Like sometimes we
Yeah.
just need that, we're not ready to fully,
Relational,
yeah,
like not be the relational aspects of cancer. And that's what it is, isn't it? It's knowing that we have to understand and grow through the other sometimes. We have to be able to have relationship with the other in order to understand ourselves, in order to really make our mark in the world. It's like coexist, we have to coexist.
Oh my God, that is so powerful. And that is exactly, oh my God, that's another little thing, right? We heal through relationships.
We heal through
Oh my God.
relationships.
So this whole thing of like, okay, you ended a relationship, now you have to be by yourself by X amount of years, months, days, whatever. I'm like, so what? You are now the perfect person for the next, like,
Yeah, it doesn't
you
doesn't
know,
always work like that. Yeah.
if we were meant to be on this planet by ourselves, I think we would have a planet each, like
Agree.
we heal
Agree.
through relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Kalpna.
Thank you,
Amazing.
Jojo, as always.
As always, I could talk to you all day. I just want to ask, actually, I do want to ask you this because I know you are, we love all the planets, we love all the placements, we love all the
We
houses.
do.
We,
We love it all.
we love it all. We're here for it all. However, no planet
Yes.
too small, no planet too big.
Yes.
Welcoming Pluto to the mix. Now, I wanted to ask you, because I know you're so high on the rising signs. So, what
Yes.
if someone is sitting here and they're like, I'm rising Cancer. So, what does
Oh,
this
I
all
love
mean?
that. That's a great question. I think for me, it's you're really being asked to step into a more nurturing phase of your life. Like that's where your life is truly going. And it's about, for me, when I see a Cancer rising, I always see someone who's potentially going to have their own business or take on, like a literal role of a mother. And that's going to be a very formative part of their relationship. But I think the biggest thing about it is it's not the literal meaning of mother and matriarchy, but it's really about them stepping into a more feminine energy phase of their life where they're leading from the sacral, they're leading from the heart. They're actually not afraid to use that use that side of themselves in order to lead.
100%.
That's what it is. That's what it really is. It's like, how can I nurture all aspects of my life in order to be the best leader? If you're a Cancer rising, I would constantly be asking myself that.
100%. So, we're healing from the feeling.
And
We're he
sensitivity, using your
right,
sensitivity.
right. So, the feeling is the healing. And it's the feeling, allowing yourself to be in that sacral, to be in those waters, to flow with those waters, to not be afraid of them, and not being afraid of the depths that they may show, right? Um,
Yeah,
but I loved it. So it's like, yeah, like your feeling is your healing, and that is really your ultimate power that you're here to share.
definitely. And I think moon tracking for Cancer risings could be really powerful.
Yes.
Tracking the moon, living in accordance with the moon. For Cancer rising, that's their ruler,
Oh, and
you
by the way, also, oh, this was another, moment. By the way, so we're always talking about the sun, right? We're going on holiday to the
Yeah,
sun. It's all, and
yeah.
I listen. I love a good sun, but like, how often do we go? I'm going on a moon holiday,
Yes.
and
Wow, that's so
and
true.
how interesting is it, right? So we're all about, I mean, you and I, and so many women out there, and also men too, right? So many
Yeah.
men, as well as women, are about feminine, female empowerment, right? And yet, the moon, you know, how often do we go? Like I said, we don't go on a moon holiday, right? How often do you spend
Exactly.
your whole night just out under the full moon, right? Like there is so there's this mystery to her, similar to as to a
Yeah.
woman, right? Not everything that you see is what you get, far from, right? And that
So
is the whole
true.
point. The potency is in the unknown, it's in the mystery, but it's still that thing of like, I love that. So deeply connecting with the moon.
Yeah.
I just want to share one more thing. I remember I had this really profound moment. I would have been in my early 20s. I moved to England when I was 16. I was in my early 20s, and I stood in this beautiful flat that I'd finally gotten after 14 different places. Anyway, blah blah blah. And I'm standing there in my bedroom, and all of a sudden, it's in the winter. It's in the depth of deep dark winter, where it gets it's cold all day and it gets dark at 3 p.m. It's quite depressing. Anyway, I'm there and I look out and the full moon is right there looking back at me. But I remember it's one of the first moments where I remember actually really noticing it. Not just
Wow.
noticing, but feeling the moon. And then
Yes.
what, right? And I got so like, I was so mesmerized by her. It
Because
was
yeah,
so mesmerized, like this
I'm mesmerized.
full on obsession. I was like, oh, there she is, right? And then since then, so since my early 20s, I'm 40 now. Since my early 20s, no matter where I live, I have a tendency to be woken up in the middle of the night on the full moon by moonlight in my eyes. And listen, guys, as much as I'm into astrology, I don't sit there with the exact meters and, try and like calculate my way to the best window I should be sleeping in front to get that full moon thing, right? But that tends to happen. And so having a relationship with the moon, that's a very real thing. And it's
It
something that just
is.
the same way that we watch the sunrise, you can watch the moon rise. And,
Yeah.
you can follow that. And like you said, knowing that the moon, she fully owns the fact that she is mysterious. She
Yeah.
doesn't try to hiding.
And she changes every day.
She changes, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes down here, we can't see her fully. And that's the moon doing her thing. And she is happy with that. She doesn't need anyone else to see her. She's
Mm,
like, doing my thing, right?
yeah.
And then only one day, and a little bit on either side, once a month, are we allowed to experience her in her full glory.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I love honoring the moon so much. It's changed my life, actually. It's
Mine
truly
too.
changed my life to understand where we're at. I think it's a Pisces moon right now. That would be very fitting for this.
Oh, please check, because I don't know.
Let me check.
Yeah, no Kalp. Yeah, please. Yeah, that is so exciting. Let's have a look. That would
Yeah,
be so
it's a
amazing.
oh well, it's a Taurus moon. It's a
Mm,
Taurus moon, so it's like a very Venusian. Today is a day of rest.
100%.
Permission to rest today.
Yes, permission to rest.
Cancer, Sun, Taurus moon. I think if anything, that is in whatever way you can be in your feminine this evening, do it. I mean, it's obviously not live, but
I love that.
take that as an energetic sign of when we're doing this.
100%. And
Mm.
maybe buy yourself some flowers.
Yeah.
And on the new moon itself, do you want to share with us like maybe a little miniature ritual? I know we've shared lots of practical tools, but just is there like a new moon? I know you mentioned it, but let's just remind listeners on the new moon, which is Tuesday here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
What would be an amazing, empowering, yeah, just really heartfelt Cancer new moon ritual people could do?
I think there's something really powerful around dancing people could do. I really do feel that. I think, it's like, I think it'd be great to set some intentions around things that aren't going to stay in your home anymore and what you want to continue to nurture. What is two things in your life that you want to nurture for the rest of the year in order to bring them to have them in full bloom by the end of the year? So it's like start thinking about what you're continuing to nurture in a really because now we're going to accelerate in the second half of the year. So it's to really like, what are you consistently going to nurture every single day?
I love that.
And then what maybe has to go? What do you have to potentially lose in order to step into this new version of yourself? Because that really is what the Cancer New Moon's about. It's like, where are you minimizing your desires because you're scared of the repercussions of visibility and vulnerability?
Oh,
Yeah. Ask yourself those questions and then honor it by dancing afterwards to really like embody this person that you're becoming. The grief of becoming, there's a lot of grief with becoming in this Cancer new moon.
oh, this is kind of like, have the big, massive cry, which is an inner clear out.
Yeah,
Crying is
karma
massively
clearing.
karma clearing, but also it's detoxifying. So on a physical
Yes,
level,
yes.
the tears you cry are not like your normal, waters in your body. They're clearing out toxins.
Yeah.
And so you know that feeling you have after you've cried, maybe not immediately after, but there's a sense of relief, right?
Mm.
You know, when there's no more tears to pour out, there's a sense of relief. There's a sense of
Mm.
a phoenix rising after the fire. Going to close with a little oracle card. I just felt inspired to share this. And of course, you know, for the collective, for humanity, for men and women alike, wherever you have your Cancer placements, this card comes from Kalpna and I actually can't see it. So is it upside down or is it good? Where?
Here.
Oh my,
Stone goddess.
it's the mother.
Oh, of
Oh
course
my
it is.
God.
Of course it is. Unwavering love and support, maternal line. That's amazing. No words. I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. Ah!
Okay, it said it all. I'm not gonna see. Energy is real. Energy
Yeah.
moves. Your intention is felt before you speak a word. Yeah. Here you go, my love. So, you know, have an amazing new moon in Cancer. Kalpna and I will be back the following month with some Leo.
So ready.
So ready for Leo.
So
But
ready.
until then, we are in the fields, we're in the depths, we're keeping it very real. Kalpna, my love, this only gets better and better.
I love it.
I love you so much. Have the
I love you
best rest of your
too.
evening. I'll see you on
So
the other
much love.
line.
Yes.
And listeners, also, if you ever have any specific questions to Kalpna and I, just feel free to drop me a message. I'll
Yes,
put them
please.
in the show notes.
Would
Thank you so
love
much.
that. Yeah. So much
Amazing. Bye,
love.
love.
Bye.